Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Jason, and we've got a Division B West match coming up for you in just a couple of moments. We've got Team Showboat versus First Pick Nova, and I've got a very special guest co-caster tonight. It is the NGS foreman himself. It is Archangel. How you doing tonight, Arch?
Hey, Jason, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to see this Div B West game tonight. I think we're in for quite a show. Team Showboat and First Pick Nova are pretty close in the standings, so I'm ready to get this on the roll.
Yeah, these are a couple of teams that I'm very interested in. You know, full disclosure, this is also the division that I play in. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how Team Showboat comes out tonight and plays against First Pick Nova. We've seen a lot of First Pick Nova's games. Started off a little bit slow, but have really come on in these last couple of weeks and have really shown their strength against some of the better teams in the division. And tonight, Team Showboat coming off a very impressive two series back-to-back on Saturday night. That was actually on this stream as well, and went 2-0. So right now they are sitting pretty at the top of the division, at least in the power rankings, if not the overall points in general. We are going in here to game number 1 for Infernal Shrines, which was the map pick of Team Showboat, who won the toss. We also had Braxis Holdout being banned by them. And then First Pick Nova banned out Volskaya Foundry and picked up Sky Temple here for game number 2. So you mentioned earlier Infernal Shrines, very popular. What do you think makes it so popular here in NGS?
To be honest, I think it's got a lot of team fighting potential, even though it's 3-lane and it is a little bit bigger of a map. I think it involves a lot of macro and micro play, and it's just well-rounded compared to other maps. So I think, honestly, that's why people favor it. I'm curious to see. I'm actually surprised the Phoenix didn't get banned already. We see the Greymane and the Maiev, but no Phoenix. I wonder if somebody's going to pick them up.
My blades are yours.
Yeah, I'm also messing with the audio a little bit, guys, so let me know how that sounds out there in the Twitch universe, if you guys could. I know there's a delay, but you guys just let me know when you hear our lovely voices. Let me know how it sounds out there. But yes, you mentioned the Phoenix. I think he's fallen off a little bit in power level. Maiev still very, very good in terms of displacement. She's got good wave clear as well, both for the laning phase and clearing these shrines with that Fan of Knives. Greymane's just, I think, good overall. I almost wonder about that a little bit, because I do feel like he's been dropping off ever since they nerfed his cocktail build more and more in the meta, but it could just be that Team Showboat knows that First Pick Nova likes that hero a lot, and so they just decided to ban it out here.
Yeah, Greymane, he has fallen out of the meta a little bit. I think he's still a better pick than Vala. He gets a good amount of damage out. He's still got the mobility. So Sonya is always a good bruiser. I'm not surprised to see her picked. She definitely can solo camps, which is really important on this map as far as, split pushing during the shrine while it's up. Interesting, we see the Diablo. He's definitely a favorite. Junkrat's not a bad pick. Junkrat can actually put out quite a bit of damage, and he definitely sit and poke down the shrine if needed.
Yeah, also the displacement just on the Junkrat in general, just so difficult to deal with. Those concussion mines are disruptive to so many different types of strategies and can just counter so many different things. So I'm not surprised to see the Junkrat come out pretty early here. The Diablo, of course, very strong in this map. There's so many different opportunities to charge into this terrain to be able to collide with, especially on these shrines. So it's very, very. Let's see.
Let me double check.
Have the teams?
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay.
You're good. I preloaded you, so put you on a VOD.
Oh, okay. No problem.
You know how that works.
Okay.
All right.
I think we. I think I got it all set up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I did add this week the win-loss record of the team, so you guys can see how these guys have been doing throughout the season and kind of gauge for yourself what the matchups are going to be. I would put the early bets on Team Showboat just in terms of what we've seen so far for the season, but I also think it's early enough that we've seen some growth from First Pick Nova over these first few weeks. And I don't think they've reached their final form yet, to be honest with you, Ark.
Yeah, well, and honestly, they definitely been doing a lot better. The record isn't as good as Team Showboat, but they do have Skinnergy as far as, you know, their portraits. So
There you
that's
go.
definitely important, right? You know, that shows some team building going on.
Yeah, when you got those Carbot portraits, man, you really know what you're doing. That indicates it perfectly. But we do see the banouts coming out here. Malfurion over on the side of first pick Nova. Makes a lot of sense. Pairs really well with the Diablo. They already have Stukov, so they're just going to go ahead and apply that healer chokehold. Meanwhile, same thought process for the tanks over on the side of Team Showboat. They've got the Diablo already. They're going to take ETC off the table. Kind of chokes the side of first pick Nova into maybe a Garrosh here.
Garrosh wouldn't be a bad pick. I'm trying to think who they'd go off with. The problem is Stukov. Stukov's silence is brutal just because of the containment of the objective. Infernal Shrines is really big for that. You can definitely block out a whole section, split the team, etc. I'm not really sure. Garrosh would be a good pick, but they're gonna go Leoric. Looks like Leoric and Cassia. I'm a huge fan of Cassia. I wish she got played more, but she really doesn't these days.
Yeah, they could also go with the Johanna, but I do think the Garrosh could be really good here. But actually, give me just 1 second. As much as I hate it, I gotta go AFK for like 30 seconds. But I know Ark's got this in the bag, and I will be right back.
Yep, I got it. So, looking at what we have here so far, the ETC was banned. Definitely a good call because, once again, Infernal Shrines, like I said, is consolidated. So, yeah, that mosh pit is brutal unless you have some good interruptions. Interesting pick with the Tychus. It's going to be good for shredding down Diablo and Leoric. I'm not a huge fan of Tychus personally, but he's probably the best tank shredder in the game still. So, not surprised to see him. Now, as we wait here for a couple minutes, what do we think they're going to go for? We got the Joe. Looks like Jason called that. Joanna, great pick. The blind should be good against Cassia. As we know, she's usually a basic attack build. I have seen her go the mage build occasionally with the lightning bolt, but it just doesn't output as much damage. Nazebo, good for the walling. I think overall, first pick Nova, which is in the red, I'm pretty sure, should definitely, I'm liking their draft a lot more. They have a lot more ability to kind of crowd control and section people off and split their team. Joe can pull everybody in, Nazebo wall them. We got Stukov with the silence pull. We will definitely, I'm looking forward to this match.
All right, and we're back. So the cat's eating something they're not supposed to eat. But we do have Johanna picked up, so really good wave clear tank. Not big surprise to see there, but then the Zebo, zibbity bobbity, oh my goodness. Off meta picks here.
Yeah, I'm actually really liking the picks though, mainly because I was telling our viewers that Stukov and Nazebo are great for kind of sectioning off the objective. Nazebo still gets very powerful. He has plenty of time to wave clear and build up his stacks. And Joe can pull them all together for him.
And the Lily pick to follow out here, Team Showboat. We saw that a couple of times this last Saturday night. It's definitely a healer that they favor, definitely a comfort pick for them, but also a really good combo with the blinds here for Cassia.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got at. I've seen Cassia go mage build before, but it's powerful, but we all know that the basic attack and fend is stronger, in my opinion. So I think Joe is definitely a good pickup. That was a good call. Also, apparently I'm much louder than you in your mix there, if you want to turn me down while we're loading.
Okay, I can do that. We'll just turn you down a little bit here in Discord.
Yeah, sorry. I'm also a very loud person. Sorry about that, viewers.
All right, well, we'll just put you down to half. We'll see how that works out. But either way, we are loaded in here. The game number 1 of Infernal Shrines. And on the left, we have Team Showboat. Team Captain Yonner is going to be on the Cassia. We're going to have Kyrios on the Junkrat. Axel Foley going to be on the Diablo. Blue Popsicle on the Leoric. And Lompico going to be playing the Lily.
And on the right side, we have first pick Nova, Team Captain Mongoose playing Joanna. Ashsteel playing Stukov. We've got Tech on Nazebo, Kicks on Sonya, and Party Boy Corey on Tychus. I'm sure he's going to party it up if he gets that massive Goliath. Or Thor, sorry.
Yeah, he's going to come out with
my StarCraft.
Come out with the Odin, I'm sure. The Party Boy
Odin.
Corey. How could you go any other? I don't know, Laser just really doesn't fit the bill here on Infernal Shrines. But either way, Axel Foley is somebody we want to watch out for. We saw his Diablo come out in the first game Saturday night, and it did not come out the rest of the night. That's how scared of it the other teams were. So be interested to see how this Diablo functions. We're going to see instantly the solo laners go to top and avoid this conflict in mid. And I love Mongoose here, disrupting the rotation, but Axel Foley's having none of it. Charges in, Cassia to follow. Mongoose is not showing any fear, though. It goes back in. Party Corey gets displaced by that grenade from Junkrat. And right now, it looks like First Pick Nova getting the worst of the scrimmage.
Yeah, I agree. Mongoose definitely went in a little hard there, but trust your healer, right? Support love. And no surprise up here on top, it looks like Sonya's definitely beating out Leoric. I think early game Sonya definitely can. Late game it's probably a little bit harder unless she gets a lifesteal build up going.
Yeah, the wave clear scales a lot better for Leo post 4, so I think that's also going to be a factor as he tries to push the lane out, and then we'll have more of an opportunity to step back, get a little bit more focus on those drain hopes. But we'll have to see how that goes back and forth. At this day and age in the solo lane, all you really have to do is survive in the lane. But meanwhile, Axel Foley looking to rotate in aggressively. Mongoose trying to zone and does successfully zone them away, but they don't get on the point here. Axel is going to be in here just a hair too late.
Second. Wow.
And Party Boy Corey living the life of danger for that glow. I don't know. I feel like that's a very, very unfortunate lost opportunity there for Team Showboat. I feel like they're going to come back and watch this one in the replay and think to themselves, what were we thinking? We had that on lockdown there.
Yeah, Mongoose definitely perfect timing on interrupting them and making them focus him for a second so his team could get that. That was really close, though.
So we will see this two-man split from First Pick Nova, and I really like this. So much displacement from the Diablo and the Junkrat. Rotating is definitely not ideal into this comp, so they're going to have Mongoose kind of stalking back and forth here. They're actually looking to come down here and maybe contest, but they're going to be just a hair too late on the other side this time around as the bottom camp gets just barely missing the contested there.
Ooh, Nazebo definitely in a bad position. That was a great mine by Junkrat there.
Spear Throwers MVP as Nazebo trying to make it out, but it's the Kauser camp that gets the final kill from that follow-up to the displacement. And already earlier, this one is a wild, wild matchup.
Yeah, Nazebo definitely was at a tight spot there. I think he thought he was out, but looks like the Spear Throwers were definitely not letting him get away with that. Up top, we see another great mine placement by Kylos there on Junkrat. He seems to be doing pretty well with those.
Yeah, and that's really one of the toughest things I think to master about Junkrat is the exact displacement there. You saw Tychus get knocked a little bit back, but not quite back enough for the side of Team Showboat to feel like they had anything, but this is a very nice rotation. They immediately go up the top here. They're going to get a nice advantage. Meanwhile, Kix is in all kinds of trouble. Gets hit by that overpower, getting very low, and does get taken down by the Cassia. And all of a sudden, that's going to be a second kill of the game going over to Team Showboat as they have a huge lead on the Shrine.
Yeah, I think Kix made a huge mistake in pushing up there with as low as he was. He knew their full team was up there. Probably should have waited back a bit for the rest of his guys. But there's that awesome silence pull. Leoric's getting really low here. Looks like he's going to get out just barely, though.
Yeah, Blue Popsicle living the life of danger. Many members, actually. Party Boy Corey, down to 73 health, does get finished off there by, of all things, the Fire Stomp from Axel Foley. And we're going to see the Punisher going in the top lane here for Team Showboat. They capture the first map objective. They're going to be looking to siege behind it here as it is baited over the wall. But meanwhile, Nazeebo has all the while been split pushing here, getting a lot of extra XP for first pick Nova, and more importantly, getting himself closer to the stacks that he'll want to have, those 175 stacks that he wants to have at level 20.
Yeah, Nazeebo is brutal once he gets his full stacks, and if they can make it and they can drag this out, make sure Nazeebo gets his stacks, they can definitely turn this game around as far as kills.
And Infernal Shrines is typically a map where you do see that. Nice defense also coming out from first pick Nova. Playing the macro game very well here. You talk about the value of Nazeebo, but also the value of the split push. They lose the front wall of the fort in top, which is going to be XP for Team Showboat. But meanwhile, they were getting XP in the lane, which later in the game, first pick Nova will still be able to get those fort front walls down and get the XP. But that's XP that Team Showboat is never going to be able to get back in lane.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely first pick Nova playing the macro game strong right now. I'm kind of debating on whether they got that top bruiser a little too early on the side of Team Showboat. Sonya looks like she's going to do well to push it off. We'll see how much they actually get out of that bruiser.
Both teams stalking around here. They're heading towards that level 10. Both teams should pretty easily have it before this next map objective. Next shrine will be spawning in the bot lane, so no inherent advantage for either team other than the fact that that gate is missing for Team Showboat on the bottom. But both teams still having their forts to fall back to. Both teams still having wells. Should be a very interesting matchup going into this next shrine phase.
Yeah, it looks like first pick Nova is definitely looking to push out this bottom a little bit more, kind of, so they don't have to worry about it during shrine. And Sonya is cleared the bruiser, didn't get much value. They got a little bit down on the fort and the well, but Leoric's falling back now. I expect Sonya and them rotating here soon.
We will see a nice zoning concussion mine there once again from Kyrios. And we will see this clear out. Level 10s are picked up on both sides. Pretty standard heroics across the board. Ball Lightning, Rip Tire, which you would definitely expect. It is going to be massive shove coming out from Estelle on the Stukov. And Gargantuan is going to be the selection here for Tech for that zoning and that additional wave clear.
Yeah, I want to point out Axel Foley's been doing really well in this Diablo. His Diablo is brutal. I won't be surprised if we see a respect ban or a pick steal this next match.
Yeah, that's something that I think a lot of teams in B West would do well to be able to scout here on the side of Team Showboat. That Axel Foley, just a monster on this Diablo. That's something that we saw on Saturday night. But either way, I mean, if you have an answer for it, you have an answer for it. But Diablo, very strong in the meta right now. And pretty much with any of these strong meta heroes, if you got a player that can play it well, that's going to give you a lot of tools in your toolbox when you come into these drafts.
Yeah, it looks like first pick Nova didn't plan very well around the second shrine. They went up to grab the bruiser, but a little bit late, in my opinion. They're going to try to come down here now and contest. We'll see how it works out. They're a little split with Nazeebo off to the right.
Yeah, Team Showboat already halfway there. They are going to come in. The Riptire going to come out early, but does not get capped. Cups having to be popped here. Axel Foley getting very low, having to walk away. Leoric, though, does not make it out. Will go into ghost form here. Odin is going to be popped aggressively here by Party Boy Corey, and he's going to finish off a few different kills here. Actually, it's Sonya and Cassia that get the final hits, but that's going to be a 2-for-0 exchange going over to the side of first pick Nova. Late to the party, but now they're running it.
Yeah, definitely. Kick's barely getting out there. Very, very lucky. I want to give props to Stuke out there. The silence pull was perfectly placed and really helped that team fight out.
All the while, they did have that camp pushing in top. It caused the late rotation, but they're going to get a lot of value off the top fort there. Sonya even committing to go to the top, and Leo is going to rotate in response. So a 4v4 down here in bot with this Frozen Punisher.
Yeah, I gotta say, I messed up. Looks like that went really well for them. I'm glad it did. Looks like first pick Nova's wanting it this round. They definitely want this first win.
Yeah, I think that you still made a good call there. That could have just as easily gone in the other direction if Team Showboat had won themselves a team fight, but just incredible execution on that dive and team fight by first pick Nova. And they do end up getting the bottom camp. They're going to rotate around, start to paint the map red. They have a little bit more than a level lead now as they get back some of that structure XP, and they're going to be looking to invade the camp.
Yeah, it looks like Team Showboat, Diablo, Axel Foley coming in here on the backside, Nazebo's wall blocking them off, but definitely way too late. We'll see now if they can win the team fight even though they lost the camp.
Axel trying to engage there, popped the APOC, but gets killed in response. Tychus falling on the back end, though. Yonners went in deep to get himself a Tychus, and Tech not quite going to find the mark there with the zombie wall. A 1-for-1 exchange here. Diablo for Tychus.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Diablo definitely dove in there way into the back line. I'm not surprised he went down, but, you know, he is super tanky, so he was probably hoping that his team would get up and follow, but that's all right. 1-for-1 still worth.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to touch on, first pick Nova, you know, in this answer to Diablo, you almost got to wonder if they were just biding their time here until Stukov was able to get the massive shove. So we've seen Astel hit a couple of these massive shoves on Axel Foley as he tried to come in, tried to engage, completely blocks it, and it's on such a short cooldown, he can do that pretty regularly throughout the game.
Great wall by Nazebo there. Lampico definitely in a little bit of trouble, but it looks like he's barely going to make it out.
And Party Boy Corey getting in there with that quarterbacked grenade going right in, almost getting the kill onto the Lily. Of course, that trait does come into play. She's able to walk away a little bit faster than most heroes when under fire, so is able to make it back, get healed up. But Mongoose positioning very aggressively, zoning for the team, playing that living ward that you expect from the tanks, doing a nice job of keeping tabs on the members of Team Showboat.
Yeah, and that last Thunder Spear there definitely completed Cassia's quest line, so that's a little bit more damage. And now we're looking at, looks like Team Showboat grabbing that bruiser, but the whole team of First Big Nova is ready to just annihilate that off the bat.
Yeah, it is a little bit early, I think, on the camp once again. And First Pick Nova, once again, playing the macro very well here on Infernal Shrines. They are going to go get the Shaman camp themselves. They're going to time this up with the Shrine. And they're going to force Team Showboat to once again pick between having to engage on this Shrine or having to clear in top where that Shaman camp could get so much value, even just on its own against the structures. But this time, there's the 16 talents here to consider as well that First Pick Nova has.
Yeah, that might be why Team Showboat's kind of just letting this Shrine go down, but I'm not sure they really can. I mean, First Pick Nova's already on Team Showboat's keeps on that top and lane, and mid is, you know, going to go pretty quickly as far as any objective at this point. We're far enough in the game, that's not going to stop it again.
Yeah, the mid fort is going to not be long for this world for whichever team ends up losing this Punisher. Axel Foley goes in with the charge and the APOC onto Sonya, but Kicks popping that Wrath right away, pretty much ignoring the stuns there. Lampico popping the cups, trying to keep the team healthy, but multiple members of Team Showboat are low here. Tychus is dead, but we do see the Supop heals keeping them healthy. Leo is going to be the next to fall. Estelle popping a huge bio kill switch there, getting the heals out. Yonners is on the run, but Kicks is not giving up. But the turnaround by Yonners and the blind.
Crazy. Yeah, I thought Kicks was going to go down earlier, but that regen is super powerful. But either way, First Big Nova comes out with this Punisher, which should pretty much obliterate that fort. We'll see. It looks like they're drawing him off. That's good.
Yeah, right now, the members of First Pick Nova not wanting to push in, not wanting to go the way of Sonya here. As we do see Axel Foley has also come back into the fold here. And actually, very good defense here by Team Showboat. They are keeping the Punisher distracted, not allowing him to really easily go in and focus the fort. And boy, do I have to eat my words, because that fort stands tall still after this Punisher phase is over.
Yeah, you know, I have to agree. They did a great job pulling it off constantly. Definitely props to them for saving that fort. It's almost dead, and probably won't last too much longer. But with that time, first pick Nova's been going around getting all the camps.
17 to 17 right now. Only a slight level lead for first pick Nova. The level 20s. The race to 20 should be pretty even. We will see the next shrine popping in top, so we are going to see an advantage for first pick Nova there. They do have the fort and the well in the top lane, but the one factor that we need to think about as we head towards the late game here, 170 stacks now for Nazeebo. He is definitely going to have that level 20 talent ready to go once they get to 20. And it would appear at this point that first pick Nova is going to make it there with a pretty strong map presence still in the game here.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Nazeebo's getting really close. He's a little behind on his toads. He's only at 18 stacks, but you know, as he's stronger and got his full stacks, he should definitely be able to get more in there and get more of the toads. I think he's probably been playing back because we all know Diablo charging you and throwing you is, you know, straight into APOC. It's just a total blow up situation. So
Mongoose being tossed out there by that grenade. They're trying to get in there, but the Iron Skin allows them to back away a little bit. Riptire comes in, this time getting massive value. Mongoose does end up falling. Tychus also falling down here, and that's exactly what Team Showboat needed. They could not sit back and wait for this Nazeebo to hit his power spike. They needed to get a couple of picks and take this map back before Nazeebo could get there.
yeah, great in tune by Leoric. I mean, that was perfect. Locked him in, and then the team just followed up and blew up first pick Nova there. Joe did not last very long for being one of the tankier characters in this game.
What a matchup we got going here on a Tuesday night in the Nexus Gaming Series. Back and forth these teams go. Level 19 on both sides. First pick Nova rotates to the top. They're going to get that top fort down. They see the members, or I should say Team Showboat rotating up there. They see the members of first pick Nova rotating out in the other lanes, getting the side soak and taking the mid fort. So they're just going to keep pushing. They're going to force first pick Nova to come back here and defend this keep.
Yeah, it looks like Sonya, New York back to meet Sonya down on bot lane. And definitely a good call to push in that keep. Because if they win this Immortal, that could be game. Already got the keep walls down. We're looking at, you know, even the keep itself is at 2/3 health. So, yeah, I think that was a good call on them to just keep pushing.
Level 20 achieved by both teams. Zevo has his stacks and is ready to go here with that voodoo ritual. But we do have the camp being abandoned here, as the members of First Pick Nova know that they can't afford to give too much of the shrine for free. Odin being popped on the back end by Party Boy Corey, and here comes First Pick Nova.
Yeah, massive shove on the Lord, throws him way back, but definitely probably not the best. Oh, Stukov blown up. That APOC was brutal.
Mongoose very low, trying to zone protect as he can, trying to give a little bit of room for Nazeebo to throw out that poison, but Tychus ends up falling on the back end of this as well. Team Showboat doing a nice job, kiting back a little bit and then turning at the perfect moment. Pico keeping everybody super healthy with these cups and also not wasting too much of the cooldown, which I really like. That's going to be another win for Team Showboat. They're going to get this Punisher, and it's going to be marching on an already damaged top keep.
Yeah, and yeah, great splitting. You know, Team Showboat really split First Pick Nova there. We saw Tychus up top and Thor just getting blown up, Odin, sorry. And then, you know, Sonya was down below. Meanwhile, you still had Joe and Stukov and Nazeebo in the back of the lane. So I think that was the cause of the loss there. First Pick Nova was way too split on that team fight.
We are going to see them marching in. The Punisher baited towards the mid. Is going to start walking back, though. The zoning there onto the Sonya with that Entomb, locking her in, getting the first kill. The Punisher's going to dive in and get a stun out. The Riptire coming in is going to knock back a couple of members, but Diablo ends up falling. Johanna also falling in return, though. Diablo is back, but it's going to be too little too late here for First Pick Nova. The Odin gets popped, but the Punisher is zoning them off. The keep is falling 50%. Estelle is just barely living, is the only one left here other than Tech, and it's just too much pressure Game 1 going over to Team Showboat here on Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, first pick Nova was doing really well macro-wise, and they were definitely playing up in that first half of the game, but I think they lost a key, team fight twice, and that definitely set them back for the loss.
I do like the macro play coming out from first pick Nova, though. I think that shows a lot of promise in terms of patience and overall team strategy. I think they didn't quite have the comp, I think that the comp is not necessarily the problem 100%, but I think that it would be a very high execution level, right? You have to zone out one member at a time. The Tychus would have to take them down, but they don't have a very strong finisher other than maybe the Sonya on the front end. And Lily also very good at deterring that with the cups and, keeping whoever's the lowest member alive as long as possible. So kind of a rough execution comp here, where even with the Nazebo late game and all the damage that was being put out from that, they weren't quite able to find the picks and the kills they needed at the end of the game, and I think that ended up kind of being the nail in the coffin at the end of the story here.
Yeah, I really like Tychus. His tank trading ability is amazing, but you really have to be able to lock someone like Diablo down for Tychus to get, any use out of it, especially when you have somebody like Lily who's just going to drop cups and keep them alive. You need a lot more lockdown and burst potential, or you're never getting rid of that guy. Perhaps maybe if they had tried to focus Lily, which would have been hard, kind of the fact you had Diablo in your face the entire match, they might have done better. But either way, it was a really good match. It could have gone either, to either team. And I do have to say, first pick Nova looked like they were going to take it for the whole first half.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this map number 2, which is going to be first pick Nova's map pick, and they are taking us to Sky Temple. And if you thought that the macro shenanigans and those macro calls were important in game 1 on Shrines, try Sky Temple on for size.
Oh, I love Sky Temple. I wish it was picked more. It's probably one of my favorite maps, actually. It's just, it feels smaller, and, you still have the objectives, but macro play is huge on this map. So I'm excited to see how these teams do on it.
Be interesting to see what Mongoose's strategy is here for first pick Nova in the draft. If they still want to allow Axel Foley to have that Diablo, if they still want to play the more macro late game style heroes like the Nazebo, if they want to pull anything out like that's not very meta, or if they maybe want to go a little bit more standard here, which incorporates a lot of the globals, incorporates a good jungler. We'll see what they want to do with this map.
Yeah, Sonya is definitely still a good pick for this map. Her ability to just push lanes on her solo lane on top of constantly go around and get the camps, I think is, not to be underestimated. I do expect to see a Diablo ban here, or a pick to counter it. He was crucial to Team Showboat's win in the last game, so I'm hoping they kind of respect that play a little bit.
All right, it does look like we got everybody in lobby. Let me just make sure both of these teams are ready to go. One of the things that I really like to see on Sky Temple, though, is getting the globals without sacrificing a whole lot of team fighting. I think that's something that is constantly underestimated, is how much you end up having to team fight, particularly around the boss areas. The boss control on this map can also be very, very important when you do end up fighting over which boss is going to be marching down that bot lane here on Sky Temple.
I agree, and I think something, it's just one of those little finer points that you could tell if a team is, really pays attention to just the details on the map. A lot of people will start the boss on the opposite side, so those tornadoes don't sit and, hit them on their side of the map. That way they don't get caught between the tornado and the other team. So it's a lot of little things like that. I agree. The boss is super important for the team fight area, and probably that middle temple. Yeah, those are probably the 2 top fight areas on this map. Do you expect to see a Dahaka That's the real question. I think Dahaka is a great global. He's so good for the team fights. High sustainability, as well as that tongue is brutal. Also, his ultimate, if he goes the blind, is absolutely obnoxious if you play any DPS hero.
Yeah, and I think Dahaka is one of those examples of a good global to have here. Falstad also, I think, can be very well utilized on this map if you play him well. When you start to go towards some of the less meta things, like the Brightwing that sometimes doesn't have quite the healing throughput that you would like for team fighting, or certainly things like Zagara that have amazing macro pressure, amazing global pressure, but just doesn't really bring anything to the team fight. That's where you start to get a little bit outside of that box that can really cripple your team fighting. But both of these teams, I feel like, are very smart when it comes to the game. They don't rely heavily on their micro play. They both play good macro. They both draft well, and they also have good team fighting and micro. But that's just not all they are.
Yeah, I agree. And it looks like we see a Stukov respect ban coming out on the side of Team Showboat here.
Yeah.
And apparently First Pick Nova just really hates Maev. So Maev's still their ban.
My blades are yours.
So Team Showboat going back to the
steal
Sonya here, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the steal. They said, well, you guys had Sonya last game. I think it's our turn.
Yeah, Sonya, very good jungler here to be able to constantly keep up the map pressure with these camps. Also is one of those heroes that has absolutely no problem soloing a temple, and also can give quite a lot of pressure on those boss points. Good wave clear. She pretty much ticks all the boxes that you really want for Sky Temple.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to see the response here. They didn't ban out the Diablo. I'm wondering if they're going to pick him or if they're going to go with somebody like Baron or Garrosh. We'll see. I'm patiently waiting. I really hope they don't give Axel the Diablo again. I'm kind of stuck. I'm kind of stuck on that. That dude was brutal.
So we did see the ETC banned out last game by Team Showboat and denied from First Pick Nova. So this time we're going to have Mongoose on one of his signature tanks, the ETC. And they also pick up the Greymane, so the two heroes that were banned from Team Showboat are the first picks here for First Pick Nova in Game 2.
Yeah, Greymane's got a lot of poke potential with the Molotov. He's, like we said earlier, he's not super meta, but he definitely dished out a lot of damage. ETC still super strong in the meta. That mosh pit's brutal, so we know Team Showboat's going to pick up some interrupts here. I mean, it's possible it'll go stage dive though, since it is the more of a global map for the objectives.
Yeah, either option could be very viable here for FPN. I think it kind of also depends on how many counters they have in the way of mosh interrupts over on the side of Team Showboat. But I expect to see Diablo and a support here for Team Showboat. Probably the Malfurion, I think, which pairs really well with it. The Stukov already off the table. I'd like to see them avoid that healer chokehold, and they will indeed get the Malfurion, and now they can apply that healer chokehold here on the turn.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Malfurion was probably the best healer they could have picked. I think he's great on this map just because the choke points, and you have Diablo to just dive in and pull that person who gets rooted, slam him to the other side to get blown up. Definitely props to Team Showboat for the Malfurion and Diablo green synergy they got going.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm still a gold player, so I like synergy. It makes you feel better, right?
Yeah, I mean, in gold you play with your graphics all the way up because you don't really care about, the tiny little advantage that, stuff like that, the stuff that gold players appreciate. I would know that. I'm also in gold, so it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, in our game earlier, on the topic of graphics and skins, our game earlier, the opposing team actually used a banned skin. They're like, oh man, they called it in the first 5 seconds on themselves. And we're like, guys, we really don't care. Like, if we were pros, maybe we would, but I don't know the difference between Marauder, Muradin's hammer sound and what it normally sounds like. I'm not a pro. Archangel
that only
Diablo
hit me
saying,
because...
yeah, because I couldn't pick up on the sound or pre-animation.
Anyway, the Cassia getting banned out. So once again, the adjustments coming in from game number 1. First Pick Nova saying, we don't want to see that Cassia again. And they're going to just take it off the board I expect the healer ban out here. We could see maybe an Uther ban to deny the Divine Mosh Pit. It's also very strong with the Greymane engage potential. But there are a couple other supports that could be strong, but I think Uther pretty much tops that chart.
Yeah, I agree. Uther, I don't see him played as much lately, but I still really admire him as a hero for his potential. That drop CC stun is just ridiculous. I mean, it's click point. And there it is. Good call. They banned him out. So who do we think they're going to pick up on the support side now?
Jack of Cups, thank you very much for the follow. Who is left is a very good question, because you've taken the two best off the board. You've taken off the one that I think kind of fits within the comp of FPN. What I would love to see from First Pick Nova here, and what I think they might end up doing, is saving that support pick for last. They don't quite know what the damage looks like. You got the tank, the bruiser, and the healer over on the side of Team Showboat. So you don't know what healer you need to counter the damage. You know the solo lane matchup with the Sonya, so they picked the Dahaka here to be able to out-global and have somebody that can survive and thrive against Sonya in that solo lane. So they are going to go to the Brightwing. I think they had an idea kind of what they want to play with this macro pressure and the boss control. So they're just going to get the Brightwing now. They'll flex it. But I still kind of like that idea of saving it, because now Team Showboat can go with a ton of burst damage up front, which Brightwing can't really deal with very well.
I agree. I think the major point on Brightwing is the Emerald Winds is really good if you're trying to steal a boss or something. It's actually about right at the right time. Other than that, the global is nice, but I agree with you. They should have waited, probably try to pick one of the better DPSers at this point.
Right, yeah. You also get your pick of those DPS champions, indeed. So, I don't know. I guess we'll see how it works out for them. But I think that's an opportunity maybe lost here a little bit for First Pick Nova. As far as damage goes now for the side of Team Showboat, there's just so many different options that they can end up going with. I kind of like the Tychus, that could maybe be a little bit of a steal away. They're going to go with Jaina Hanzo. So, talk about burst damage. The Jaina having the highest DPS in the game. Long cooldowns with the high DPS. The Hanzo also with high numbers. And the Abathur in response here for First Pick Nova.
Looks like First Pick Nova is definitely going for the more global here. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was going to say that I hope they pick Jaina, because I happen to love Jaina. She's definitely more of a mid to late game hero, but once she's ready to roll and mana's not as big of an issue, you just start pumping out those spells as soon as the cooldown's off. Her ults are beautiful. You know, they're definitely versatile. I usually go with Frostwing, but Frost Ring, sorry, but you know, the water hydras are also equally good depending on the enemy's comp. So I'm excited to see a Jaina getting played here. So
yeah,
here we go.
I really do
it's
like
definitely the globals versus the standards here.
Right. It definitely has team fight advantage going over to Team Showboat. That was also kind of the advantage last game. And we saw First Pick Nova do pretty well on a map that, you know, on Infernal Shrines that incorporates quite a lot of team fighting. So we'll see if maybe the map difference can be the difference in this game as we go directly into a pause. So we'll take a look at what's going on and see what we need to fix here.
Apparently Corey got kicked to the main screen, so it looks like we're gonna try to get him back in here. For the meantime,
party without the party boy, man.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I know he's not on Tychus this round, but still.
Doesn't mean he can't party.
I love that perfect pause. Right now we have a 3v3 going on the screen. It didn't even finish loading the rest of the heroes.
Yeah, there's one.
That's
like about as quick
drop.
as it gets, man. They were on it.
Start that timer now.
That's a good point, huh? Yeah. Something I always forget when I'm reffing is, you know, because I just assume that everybody's, you know, doing their best and they'll be back. But yeah, you gotta get on that timer, Jay. Come on, man.
It's okay. It's only because you have an admin here for the league.
There we go. Yeah, you got it. You know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing as far as casting. That's why I co-cast. But I definitely know that I deal with anything on the aftermath. If somebody's like, they took longer than 10 minutes, we should have auto won. You know.
I also didn't do a countdown. Terrible, terrible me. No, I'm kidding. Who needs a countdown to the pregame? But either way, we are loaded in here.
Countdown for what? So they can get to their lane?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Game number 2 here. I'm going to be on Sky Temple. On the left, it is Team Showboat. We're going to have Lampico on the Malfurion. Kyrios is going to be on the Hanzo. We're going to have Yonners on the Jaina. Axel Foley going to be back on his signature Diablo. And we're going to have Blue Popsicle playing the Sonya.
And on the team of First Pick Nova, we got Mongoose team captain on ETC, Ash Steel on Brightwing. Party boy Corey bringing the party to every lane is Dahaka. Tech, we have, that gray main? Yeah, that's the gray main. Sorry, I'm not used to that skin. And Kicks on Abathur. I never seen that skin, actually.
Yeah. You talk about the party in every lane. Kick's going to be constantly popping out these mines in all the bushes all around the map, giving them extra vision. Oh, I love this call, though, from Team Showboat. They know that the Abathur comp is weak early, and they're going to get some early advantage off of that. 4-man sent right to top. They're going to cheese the top tower. They're going to stay here, though, and continue to pressure. They're losing a little bit on the map, but you think about this map here on Sky Temple. The map objective gains you really only one thing, which is pressure on the structures. So anything you can do to get extra siege is gonna really enhance what you get out of that map objective early.
Yeah, agreed. I'm kind of keeping an eye on Jaina here. It looks like Jaina went Fingers of Frost, which is great for the later game because, you know, when mana regen isn't a problem, you can do as much as you want. We see Mongoose getting caught out on top. He's definitely going down, playing really aggressive, just like last game, and he definitely paid his price.
Axel Foley showing us once again exactly what he's capable of in terms of displacing people on that Diablo, and this time Mongoose pays the price. But look at the siege damage coming in here already from Jaina. And one of the things that's pretty unsung about that hero is just the amount that she can get, particularly from that that passive that she has, the Frostbitten, to get a lot of extra damage on the structures.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not an issue for Team Showboat here. You know, Jaina's already super low on mana, but they've already pushed down top well and the entire wall and towers. So, you know, with their whole team just constantly pushing, they're definitely making use of this, you know, early game disadvantage for the Abathur pick.
Yeah, and what exactly can First Pick Nova do about this? They don't have the tools to really be able to team fight. Team Showboat knows that. Very good macro response to this comp that's supposed to really be dominating the macro game for First Pick Nova.
Yeah, down here on bot, Party Boy just push Wookie in it, waiting for Blue Popsicle. Interesting to see how this fight goes.
And we do have Abathur body soaking the mid throughout a lot of this. Sonya, of course, rotating between the mid and bot lanes to make sure that the side of Team Showboat doesn't lose much, if any, XP from that 4-man push top. And right now, the camp picked up in top, gonna favor First Pick Nova a little bit. They're gonna be the first on the scene for these temples and gonna get a little bit of extra shots here. But I expect as soon as they've got Jaina filled back up on mana, the Team Showboat's gonna renew the aggression here.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of swapped. Now we see First Pick Nova get the camps a little bit earlier, and you know, Team Showboat's about to show up with their camp pushing. So a little bit of a swap from last game.
And
of course, Brightwing has to back off top.
Yeah, and in mid, you know, they really realized they cannot fight. They wanted to see exactly where FPN ended up going. They are going to come in with the Brightwing. Lampico getting very low. Tech diving in after him here. Yonners is responding here as Diablo is just going to hold that in top. And these last shots look like they're going to end up going the way of Team Showboat. So they get the top fort down from the combined effort of that camp and the shots in top. Now they're going to get a little bit of extra value here in the mid as they get the final shots on the second of these two shrines. And we'll return to the laning phase. Overall, though, XP pretty equal here for both of these teams.
Yeah, First Pick Nova struggling on this mid fight, though. We saw their whole team get pretty low. I'm actually surprised somebody didn't go down. Hanzo doing great work. Jaina's doing great work. They definitely have a lot of damage on the side of Team Showboat. And that's really, you know, making First Pick Nova have to play back. They're not even being able to really contest the lanes.
Yeah, until the level 10s come in here for first pick Nova and they have that ultimate evolution, they don't have a very strong end gauge. They don't have much follow-up to the CC that can be brought here from Mongoose on that ETC. The Greymane deals some damage, but it's not quite enough to outclass Hanzo and Jaina.
Yeah, I agree. And while we're looking at this, do you think Mongoose is gonna take that mosh pit?
You know, you got to look at the potential. Oh, meanwhile, Mongoose put into the corner. Nobody puts Baby in the corner, but Axel Foley puts Mongoose in the corner, and we see him falling here. And once again, this is gonna proc the full-on push. And you look at the focus here. The side of Team Showboat focusing on the bot lane, which where that temple is gonna be spawning here as they get that damage out. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
what was the question?
Yeah, and up top we have the Haka right wing, you know, just trying to push. Blue Popsicle on Sonya, countering them pretty easily. Sonya is pretty strong, so they're backing up. Looks like they're gonna prep for the next temple. Looks like we should be having a huge team fight. Abba's got mid lane pushing pretty strong. Hopefully they get some work out of that, but Sonya's gonna drop down and clear it.
The wave clear of Sonya, very strong, and the split push potential is pretty good. I like this call. You got the one tower and bot, and 10s are picked up here. I would say that as much as stage dive is ideal, you know, we have leap, Dragon's Arrow, as well as APOC. So 3 different interrupts that are completely viable to be able to take down that mosh pit. So I would say this should probably be stage dive from Mongoose, but depending on how, yeah, it is going to be stage dive.
Yeah, that's a good call because there's way too many interrupts. Now the problem I see with stage dive is the utility of it as well. I mean, if he can't even dive into the back line, pretty much I'd use it as an escape because engaging is probably going to get you blown up.
Yeah, very, very aggressive engage there by Mongoose, sliding in, trying to prevent the takeaway. They do end up getting the camp away there, but it is a 2-for-1 exchange. They get the Malfurion down, but they get the camp back. Pretty even overall. Abathur pushing in the top as well. So going to be a little bit of extra siege potential there. Sonya rotating up to it. The entire bottom temple does end up going over to Team Showboat. And they've secured themselves a pretty good lead here early.
Yeah, Party Boy in a lot of trouble. Caught out there in a 3v1, and Mongoose way too late to save him. But I think that Abathur's doing great work, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough at this rate.
Yeah, the longer the game goes, the more it does kind of favor that Abathur split push, because the side of Team Showboat can only rotate so quickly here, looking for these picks, looking for the map pressure. Eventually you can try to bleed them dry through the map objective, but that split push that Abathur gets and the global pressure that they can apply is going to definitely be a factor for that. We'll have to see. Definitely a lead here early for Team Showboat, but this match is definitely not over yet.
Yeah, I'd love to see this come down to a race because it looks like Team Showboat's pretty much taking all these objectives. So I'd love first pick Nova to keep a split push going, and then it'd be a race between the objective and the split push. I don't know. Those are always, you know, more exciting, and you get all piped up and pumped to see who's going to make it.
Yeah, right now, I love the call here from Team Showboat. They are sharking around. They're looking to find anybody that gets caught out. Speaking of which, Mongoose.
Dying. He got bush wookied, man. Not a chance.
The
He
face
was
check.
coming in strong. Sorry,
Yeah.
Stormtrooper, he didn't make it.
Yeah, that hurts. That rotation is definitely rough. Nobody's showing on the map there, but we are going to see once again the siege potential from this Jaina. Hanzo doesn't bring a whole lot to the table when it comes to wave. Well, he has a lot of wave clear, but not siege damage on the structure. So I really like the Jaina pairing here that Team Showboat has done.
Yeah, Jaina, taking a quick look, actually really behind on the her actual passive quest. So only at 7,000 out of a total of 15. Doing decent on the health globe, but it looks like Team Showboat knew what they were getting in for. They're taking these, you know, the top shrine, and they're definitely trying to end this game early.
Blue Popsicle in all kinds of trouble, burning the leaf to try to get out, but a huge tongue there from Party Boy Corey, bringing her back into the party and taking her down, and that's going to be a nice pick going over to first pick Nova. But meanwhile, we do have the Keep falling in top lane, level 16 coming in, so they lose the pick there, but Team Showboat's still kind of running the show right now.
Yeah, it looks like first pick Nova trying to get a little more macro aggressive here, just swinging over, stealing their siege camp on bot. Good call. We know bot lane's super important. What if they can get the boss and push that bot lane, and they can definitely turn this game around.
We do have the entirety of the bottom temple being capped here for first pick Nova. They're going to be able to take down the bottom fort from that. Boss is still on the map. Neither team has even really taken 2 looks at it just yet. But level 16s are going to be here from Team Showboat. As much as I think they could potentially try to force that, there are quite a lot of tools for first pick Nova in terms of zoning off the boss to try and steal. So that's probably not as attractive an idea as they would like.
Yeah, Mongoose hanging out here. I'm not sure that's a great idea. It looks like Team Showboat is looking at maybe starting this boss, or are they going to leave it?
Poking at it a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're just bushwhacking. They're hunting. And Mongoose is in a bad position again.
The slide, put the arrow and the drag. It's not going to end up working.
No getting away from all that CC. Holy cow. He thought he had it until that Hanzo arrow hit him in the face.
Right. When that dragon's arrow tracks you down. They're trying to get a little bit of room here for the keep. Team Showboat running out of creeps is going to back up there. But Kip's actually popping the ultimate evolution there. Evo not going to get too much value. And the charge in here onto the real Greymane. Tech is in all kinds of trouble. He's going to end up falling. And now that's going to allow the members of Team Showboat to come back here for round 2 of taking this keep.
Yeah, once again, great job by Axel Foley jumping on that Greymane as soon as Greymane jumped towards Hanzo on the back line. Axel Foley, knowing what he's doing, he's like, you're not touching my boys in the back.
And then he comes in, hits the overpower onto Mongoose, but didn't have the angle he wanted. Did you see that? He stepped out and waited until Mongoose walked back in, had the perfect angle, and then charged him back into the keep. Beautiful play there.
Yeah, definitely. And now we see Team Showboat. Somebody's finally capping that boss. Good call. I'm going to have to say I think this might be game right here. They can either push with the boss, go for the objective. You know, first pick Nova's going to have to struggle to keep 2 entire lanes off. I mean, they're not even going to be able to contest this objective.
We are going to see camp picked up here in the top lane. Axel Foley trying to get aggressive, not quite finding them out in time, but Party Boy Corey is going to be not so lucky on the other end of that. Nice arrow, nice roots coming out. And you mentioned it earlier, the CC. This is just a CC nightmare for first pick Nova. Boss pushing in the bot. Axel Foley going in, zoning tech away from this boss, trying to get it max value, popping the APOC, even catching the Abathur with that APOC. And right now it looks like first pick Nova is throwing the white flag. The core is falling. That is going to be it. Game 2 and the domination going over to Team Showboat.
Yeah, I have to say, great job on the side of Team Showboat that last game. Their synergy was unreal with those CCs. Axel Rose tossing them. Yeah, you had Hanzo on point with those arrows for the stun. And I love seeing a Hanzo who actually uses it aggressively like that. You know, in the middle of a team fight just to finish the kill. That's a great way to get a pick, especially it's important. You know, if you blow up, you know, somebody like Mongoose or, you know, their other off tank, then you can definitely impact the rest of the team fight for that, you know, segment of time.
I mean, well, I don't even have to ask who we're going to get an interview here. We've got Axel Foley already in here with us. Congratulations, man. How are you guys feeling after that 2-0? Ruh-roh. Axel, are you there, man? There you are. Yeah. We can hear you. How
don't
are you
use
guys
Discord
feeling?
often, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
We feel pretty good. We feel pretty pumped. You know, we had a good few matches in the last week, so we're feeling awesome right now.
Yeah, just a few days here. You guys go 6-0 on these games. And, one thing that I think I would have to ask of First Pick Nova is, what did we learn tonight? I think the first answer would be, you don't let Axel Foley have Diablo.
Yeah, that was my point. I don't know why they gave it to you. I would have respect banned that or picked it so you couldn't have it again. That would be my advice to any future teams looking at you. People target ban me for Artanis. I would target ban you for Diablo.
I mean, that's it's kind of an honor, to have those type of target bans. But I mean, a lot of our players play different heroes at such a high level, so it's really interesting in the last few games seeing the target bans, because there were target bans and all different positions that we have in our team. But since we are so diverse on the heroes we play, we're able to counter that and really overcome that the struggles.
Yeah, most definitely. How do you feel? You looking forward to the future in the playoffs? Because I'm pretty sure at this rate, you guys are going to make it if you keep up this. I mean, that synergy last game, I have to say, on point. Your Hanzo was dropping that arrow at the perfect times. You were on point with your direction. Jason really complimented you there. You had a great, just waiting for Mongoose to get that angle right, throw him back into the keep for this, temp stun. So, how you guys feeling about it?
Pretty good. What I think what it is that we don't. Last time I told you that we really don't practice at all, and part of that is we don't warm up or anything. And so I think that in the future we might need to do some warm up games. Kind of get adjusted to, the muscle memory of your mouse, the keyboards, and such. And since that first game was kind of like a warm up, and it really allowed me personally to get loose, but I know for sure it probably feels like for Curios, for example, that was his absolute first game. And so was for Lepico as well. So it's I think we need to loosen up a little bit, warm up a little bit before we play future games.
Man, if this is what you guys look like without any practice or warm-ups, I'd really hate to look like what you guys would look like after a couple of practices. But we do end up seeing more team fight oriented comps from you guys, a little bit less on the globals and the non-meta. Do you guys find that that's usually what you like to play, or are you guys just holding those non-meta strats for later in the season?
I think this is just a combination of really studying what the other team plays and taking that and being able not to a direct counter, but it's like a chess game, we know how we play and what can we do that will also counter our team, but also won't go too far away from our play style. And our synergy won't go too off, and so it's just a constant just battle of trying to figure that out.
Yeah, most definitely. Quick question: was that Stukov ban just because you didn't want to face Stukov on Sky Temple, or was it a respect ban?
It was so we just didn't want to face Stukov for Sky Temple. Lepico likes to play Stukov as well. But for what we want to do and what we want to accomplish, Stukov would hinder that. And so that was pretty much we don't like to play Stukov, but if we know an enemy team doesn't play certain characters, we'll ban them out, or we won't concern ourselves with them too much because they don't have as much practice. So it just depends on the player. I mean, that their player plays Stukov really well. And it's a hindrance. I think it's one of the most overpowered heroes in all HOTS right now. And when you watch GM plays, Stukov is the first ban, and so it is an annoying character. But if somebody is at a lower level playing them, it's not as hard to work around that. You know what I'm saying? But their Stukov played pretty good.
Yeah, the Stukov is. I 100% agree with you. Super annoying. That silence pull literally can be channeled forever. So if he's in a good position and you can't get to him and you're choked, that silence pull is brutal. I personally think they should add a cooldown to it or something for a length of time it can be channeled.
Yeah, or your mana gets depleted during the channel of it, or something like that. I think that'd be a little bit more fair, because at 13 you basically get mosh pits. You can root people and it's just another mosh pit on a 13-second cooldown. It's insane.
Yeah, I agree. But really, honestly, before we get out of here, I gotta say, great games. It was awesome for Jason to let me co-cast this I'm looking forward to seeing you guys play and get to the playoffs and see how you guys do.
Thanks for broadcasting. We actually really appreciate you and Jason. We appreciate Jason a lot. We praise him a lot, actually, because we like his level of his passion of HOTS and how he broadcasts. It's a high level of broadcasting for an amateur league, and we recognize that. And when we rewatched it, we like his commentary. I think he's one of the best casters in NGS, and so it's really awesome. We feel blessed to be broadcast by Jason and you. So thanks, guys.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate it, man. It's been a pleasure to cast you these last couple of days, and I agree with Ark. You guys have played incredibly well in the few series that I've seen you, and I'll be looking forward not only to seeing you guys later in the season, but I think we have something on the books for week 6.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, ban Diablo.
I mean, that's the interesting thing is that if you need to cast one of their matches to see that you need to ban Diablo, then you are just not paying enough attention, because anybody that's watching should be able to see that pretty plain as day.
Yeah.
You guys are funny.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for coming out. Do you have any shout-outs you want to make before we get offline here for the night?
Just shout out to you guys, NGS volunteers. We really appreciate it. If you guys haven't, the viewers on Twitch, we love you guys. We love all the chat. And if you guys haven't, please sub or donate to Jason Hots. We really appreciate it because he broadcasts at a high level.
Man, the plug, I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, you don't even have to plug yourself, man.
Man, that's nice. But thank you for coming out tonight, Axel. Good luck in the rest of the NGS season, and we will see you the next time you're on here.
Yeah, and one more thing, Jade. If you need help with any graphical designs for yourself, let me know. I did our logo, and I did Stepdad's logo on Division A.
Nice.
I don't know if you saw there. I draw everything by hand, so if you need any help of your own stuff, let me know, dude. I'll be fully happy to try to figure out something with you.
Nice, and you're talking to the right person as well with Ark in here, because if you ever want to do anything for NGS, I think he's pretty much the guy you talk to. So,
yeah, at me anytime. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, will do. Thanks, Axel. I appreciate it, man.
You guys have a great night. Thank you.
You too.
You too.
All right, well, that is going to do it. Congratulations once again to Team Showboat for coming out, winning the 2-0. First Pick Nova as well for coming out, putting on a great show for us, hanging in those games. And also, thank you to Archangel. Thank you very much for coming out and co-casting with me. It was a good time as always, man, and you feel free to come back anytime you want.
Hey, brother. Yeah, thanks for having me. I have to say, I'm going to give a few shout-outs here if you don't mind.
Go for it.
People like Jason, without you, man, this league doesn't make it. We thrive on volunteers, and the casters are the head and face of, the league. So, that's why you got an award last season. You guys are appreciated by not only the staff, but definitely by the community. So thanks for having me, and thanks to all the casters. I want to give a shout out to the viewers. You guys, the community is what made this as big as it is, and I'm telling you, we do everything we can every season to make it everything you guys want it to be. So if you have suggestions, put them in our Discord chat. You can always find me on Twitter at Archangel0138. I'm happy to talk to you if you want to DM me. Thanks for having me, Jason, and thanks for all the volunteers that helped make this happen. It's been an awesome experience, and I'm super proud of this community and what it's become.
All right, well, that is going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thanks for coming out and watching. And for NGS, I am Jason. He is Archangel, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good night.